So let's talk about digital. One thing I don't have on here actually is my iPhone. I will use that instead of a scanner. So let's say I've drawn out a design. Instead of walking over to the scanner, scanning it, bring it into the computer, I'll just take a photo of it, try to get it lined up, and then I'll just email it to myself. And that way is the quickest way to just get a sketch into the computer if you're not too worried about how it's going to look. I would never do that for final artwork. It's just for bringing sketches into the computer. Obviously, I love Macintosh. Awesome. Big monitors. I like big monitors. I like Creative Cloud, Photoshop, and Illustrator. The nice thing about that is it's a subscription service. You don't have to spend $700-800 like you used to all in one day just to buy the software, and then all of a sudden a year later it's out of date. When I was in school's expensive enough. Nobody wants to pay even the student price for the software, but now it's really affordable. And if you do one freelance project a year or 2 freelance projects a year, you can pay for the software, and I think that's good karma. The other tool I use a lot is bitmap textures. I'll talk about that later. Photoshop brushes, also talk about that later. But what these are textures I've already got scanned in. They could be watercolor, spray paint, grunge textures. They could be texture from cracked plastisol on a shirt, and I'll have those ready to go because a lot of these projects you just want to knock them out really fast, and you don't want to be basically waiting for paint to dry every single time. If you can have these textures at your disposal, you can get really good effects really fast. And so those are kind of my basic core supplies. A lot of times with logo work, especially for t-shirts or things that aren't so serious, you wouldn't use these for corporate logos, but spray paint is awesome. I have a little printer. I'll put the name of that in the show notes, but it'll cut out stencils out of paper, and then you can just take spray paint and spray paint your logos, and it looks awesome and everybody's impressed. India ink, it's just black ink that you can say print out your design, and then you can use that, or you can use watercolor and have everything bleed and get a really good effect. Sometimes I've had success actually printing out my design in one color on black on an inkjet, and then running over to the sink really fast and pouring a little bit of water on it and smearing the ink around. That was that Vector Lab logo that I was showing you before. That's how I did that. And that's about it. So, there might be other supplies depending on the project, but those are my core things that I go to that I know how to use. The next section will be structure of a type-based logo. So the shapes, letter forms. So I'll see you in a second on that.